Hello everybody, trust you're all well, and welcome to part 28 of Monty's ongoing restoration. Well, as you know, it's been all about salvaging parts off the donor Militant lately. We started with this, then we got down to this, and now we're down to just the back axle. And we set about that the other day in the workshop. It's raining outside, and nice lads here have allowed me to pitch up in the corner so I can keep out the rain and crack on with it. So here we are. I've got the axle up on a couple of pallets there, get the wheels off the ground and start stripping it down. Unfortunately, it's taken a darn sight longer than I thought it would. It's been a proper fight to the death. Everything's seized up, everything's jammed up solid. It took me over 2 hours just to get the two wheels off this front axle. It didn't get any better after I'd got the wheels off. Stripping the hubs down was an ordeal as well. Got the homemade spanner out again to get the big nuts off. That worked as good as it usually does, which was nice. But after that, yeah, everything is just jammed up solid. So I've got the hub off of this one, and having a look inside, you can see all them shoes are well rusted. And then I noticed, hang on, there's a bit missing. And I can see it laid in the bottom here. It's the actual return spring. As you can see, one end has snapped off. But the shoes are so seized up, they're jammed in place. And they're not touching anything. It's a good job they are, really. That could have caused us problems bringing the thing back down here. The brakes kept locking on. In the end though, with a bit of patience and perseverance and plenty of heat in the right place and penetrating fluid, it all started to come apart. I've got that one wheel station off. Now I can start on the other side. And so it went on. Only it took a lot longer than I thought it would. What was a couple of hours turned into a couple of days, and here we are halfway through stripping it down. I've got all the hubs off at least. Now I've got the brake linkages to get out and all the other bits and pieces. Somebody posted a comment a couple of videos ago saying something like, even with small bites, eventually you'll get to eat the whole elephant. And I think finally I have done just that. I have eaten the whole elephant. We're done. I've got everything I need. All the parts I want are salvaged and everything's done and we're all finished. I've a few bits left to bring down from the bus yard, like the wheels and tyres, but otherwise everything is, as they say, safely gathered in. There is a few bits gone in the scrapper along the way, bits that I don't need and what have you, and I'm sure somewhere's out there somebody will be saying, well, you should have kept that, somebody might need it. Yeah, maybe I should have kept some of the bits, but then I've got nowhere to keep it, to be honest. I'm short of space as it is, and trying to stack everything on a, well, it might be needed basis is a bit that's a bit too much really. I've no intentions of becoming a militant breaker's yard, that's for sure, but I've got the bits I need, and I've sent a lot of bits all over the country to other people, so the whole thing's been quite a good project, I think is the word to call it. And everybody's going to profit from it. As for storing parts, yep, I've got them stacked up everywhere. Here we are in the workshop. I've got plastic bins full, bits and pieces. There's bits on the floor there waiting to get sorted out. Bearings, bits off the back axle that I've taken off recently. Around the back of the shed, I've got bits stacked up. There's panels and bits and pieces there, framework, bits of cab. And down the farm, I've got all the big bits, like the radiator, the diesel tank and the engine and all sorts of other stuff that either Monty needs, might need, or somebody else might need. The pile of bits down there, you've got brake chambers, compressor and so on. Got the leaf springs here on the left hand side there. I'm probably going to use them on Monty. There's a whole pile of air pipes underneath there, you can see, just chucked in underneath. They're all good, they're all usable. Got cab doors over there, bits of engine cover, wheel arches here. The gearbox is down by my feet, I'm trying not to trip over it. There's the left hand side of the cab, that's definitely getting used. More bits down the back there, all stacked up. And obviously there's the right hand side of the cab. I've sat it on top of the skip for the time being, so it's up and out of the way. It's not just the big bits we saved, it's all the little bits as well, like these axle breather pipes. Monty's just don't exist anymore, they've rotted away completely. So at least I've got two replacements here. Yeah, I know they need cleaning up, but then that's all part of the game, isn't it? There has been a couple of disappointments along the way. Bits like these prop shaft flanges. I was hoping these were going to be in better condition than Monty's, but sadly, no, they're not. So we're back on the speedy sleeve idea, and we'll have to do something with Monty's flanges, because these, well, it's no better than Monty's. On the positive side, there has been some good saves, in particular these wheel bearings. I mean, this was the whole point of going for the donor motor in the first place, because Monty needs 4 of these wheel bearings. And look at these, that's in lovely condition compared to Monty's. That's an inner one, this is an outer one, and they are, yeah, they're almost new condition. From a cost point of view, this is a colossal saving. I know it sounds daft, but just these 4 sitting on the bench, you're looking at over 1,200 quid if you wanted to buy new ones. So to get these 4 from the donor Militant, that makes the whole project well worthwhile. One of the other cost saving bits from the donor Militant is nuts and bolts. I know they sound trivial, but the proper BSF nuts and bolts are getting hard to find these days, and when you can find the right size, they're usually frighteningly expensive. As you can imagine, I've had quite a few bolts on Monty that are sheared off or they've rusted away and need replacing. So every time I've managed to save a nut and bolt off the donor Militant, it's been going into a bucket and getting rescued. There's a selection of them here, and I've another 2 buckets full sitting around the side of the shed. Now they're all going to need sorting out and cleaning up and what have you and looking at, but I don't need them just yet. I can put them to one side and do them as something to do in the evenings during the winter. Speaking of stuff for the evening, a little bit of a recent evening entertainment. I started having a look at Monty's foot brake valve. We did the donor Militants one the other day and it came out very successful, and I thought I'll start looking at Monty's and see how bad that is. The top half, the pedal assembly, came off. That's cleaned up nicely and that's all very good, but the actual valve itself, well, it's not very good at all. The centre piston in the middle, as you can see, is badly corroded there, and it's all absolutely seized up solid. The whole valve is jammed up solid. And I think the main cause of the piston's corrosion is this gator, which, as you can see, has got a large split in it, and that's been allowing all the moisture and the damp to get in and started that damage and corrosion. Now, I know I said with the other foot brake valve, don't fix what ain't broke and don't take it apart, but well, this one's broke, so we've nothing to lose by taking it apart and seeing if we can fix it. And taking it apart didn't start off very well. 2 of the long bolts that hold the pedal assembly on sheared straight off, and the others didn't want to come undone, but they did eventually. So I did get rather lucky with the taking it apart bit and trying not to damage anything, because as soon as the last bolt came out, the whole thing just sprung apart, revealing the diaphragm in the centre, half of which is stuck to the top and half of which is stuck to the bottom. If I get my little pointy stick here, I can show you. As you can see, that's the diaphragm and it's stuck around that bottom edge, but in the centre there's a big spring underneath there that's trying to stretch that up. And the moment I put the camera down, the diaphragm pinged off and the bottom end of the valve shot across the workshop floor along with the spring. Fortunately, both survived the impact without damaging themselves, and more importantly, the diaphragm appears to have survived as well, and that still seems to be intact. However, you can now see the main problem is getting that piston out of the top bit. Now, I don't think there's a textbook anywhere in the world that's going to recommend the following action, but one way or another I've got to get that piston out of the top of there. So I'm setting it up in the vise, making sure the diaphragm's not in the right place, and I'm going to get a big hammer and beat 7 bells out of it, because that's the only way I'm going to get that piston to come out. And eventually after a few hefty wallops, there it is. And that's our two halves. And looking at it, I think that diaphragm is still surviving. But as you can see on that piston, there's an awful lot of corrosion on there. And all that is going to have to get cleaned off. But yeah, that diaphragm, it's still surviving that. So here we go. Inside our collar, you've got more corrosion there. And there should be, somewhere underneath all that muck, a little O-ring that makes the seal. So we'll hook our O-ring out somehow. There we are. I think that's had it. We'll need a new one of them. And then set about cleaning up that corrosion. Now I'm using a very fine sandpaper here. I just want to literally polish the muck off. I don't want to scrape any metal away. And the same on the piston. Just carefully doing it. It takes a while, a bit of patience. And all you want to do is get that muck off. I don't want to be scraping big holes in the aluminium surface there, because we want to reuse it. Oh, that seems to have cleaned up reasonably well, even with all that corrosion around the top. The actual bit of the piston where it seals into that O-ring has cleaned up quite well, so we might get away with that. And the main casing itself's cleaned up, and that now is free to move. So we get our fresh O-ring. As you can see, that's in far better condition than the one that came out. Fit the O-ring in, make sure it's nice and snug into its little housing there. That'll do. Bit of oil on it. Now the actual handbook says you should oil this piston on a regular basis as part of servicing the truck. It says remove the gaiter and apply 3 drops of engine oil to the edge of the piston. But I can guarantee that has never actually happened. I don't ever remember doing it myself as part of servicing these things when I was in the army, and I don't know of anybody that's bothered doing it since. So that probably doesn't help the situation in keeping the foot brake valve lubricated. Anyway, that needs to fit in there now, and that is quite a tight fit. But that's what you want, because that seal has got to be airtight. So let's put it back together then and set up our little Heath Robinson test rig and see if it works. And here we are. Plug the airline in and check for leaks. Now with my dodgy hearing, if I can actually hear an air leak, then it is a bad one. Even with my hearing aids in, I still find it difficult to hear that sort of thing. So the best thing to do is get out the old squeezy soap bowl, spray a bit of soapy water on it, and then try it and see if it's leaking. It's going to blow bubbles. If it isn't leaking, it won't blow bubbles. And as you can see, with a few bubbling up around my connections there, but then I haven't screwed them in that tight. That's only for a little test. The important bit is it leaking around that diaphragm in the middle, and is our piston leaking? And as you can see, there's a complete absence of any bubbles around the top there, so that says that isn't leaking. So I think we've got away with it actually. I think we've got a good foot brake valve here. Despite all that corrosion around the top of the piston, I think once I've fixed the split in the gaiter, glued that back together, and put the whole thing back together, we'll have a second working foot brake valve. So I'm quite pleased with that. Now we got the donor Militant sorted, and basically all the parts we need to get on with Monty. I'd best start getting on with Monty then. The next bit to do is get this grey primer flatted off and sorted out and ready for some top coat. Once the green top coat's on, then we can start looking at putting the back axle back together with all our new wheel bearings and new bits and pieces we've just recently salvaged. I think before we do that though, I'm I've got to do a bit of gardening round here. The recent rain and a bit of sunshine, and of course all the weeds are growing, and we're knee deep in stinging nettles here. So I shall have to clear some of that so I can actually get on and do some work. So as long as we get some better weather, and a bit less rain and what have you, we'll crack on, and that'll all come out in the next video. So we'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Do tick the like and subscribe boxes if you haven't already, and we'll see you in part 29. Bye for now.